All right, folks, let's have a look at an open guard system that I've been toying about for the past few while. This is still experimental, but I've had a lot of success with it, so your mileage may vary. If you try this and you get absolutely destroyed at rolling, please do ask me for advice, but also please don't curse my name. So, this is a stitch together of several different open guard ideas and principles. I am heavily borrowing from the likes of Priit Mihkelsen, for example. Go check out defensivebjj.com if you want more of his stuff, or stuff on YouTube as well. So, if my partner is standing, the kind of full spectrum I'm looking for, rather than looking to engage in some sort of open guard, I tend to prefer wrestling up, or at least have some sort of attack or sweep that's going to instantly destabilize them. Mostly because I'm a small practitioner, so I have to keep on moving. However, the range is seated guard, and then as he comes in, if I can attach to something, perhaps a shin on shin, that leads into all my sweeping options or attacking options, deeper into guards and leg locks. But if I feel like they're pushing or steaming in a little bit, I'll come to sideways open guard. The sideways open guard has got a lot of different elements to it, but long story short, I'm not my back, I'm not seated, it's a halfway house. This gives an extra layer of complexity, and also this kind of baits certain kind of grips, because I can keep them at bay here by pushing, not shin kicking. Here, I can get possible koichi sweeps, or uichi sweeps, I should say, or basically just hack their ankles away from them a little bit. And then anytime he goes to grip, my hand is already waiting, because I anticipate it. I can kick out. There's all manner of things which can happen here, obviously. I assume we'll have some options from Dela X. Or, if I'm particularly worried, I can come here, little destabilization. I can come to the leg here and start wrestling up maybe. Or, if he completely bum rushes me, I can come to my back and go supine. So, the full range of motion, if I do it in fresh air, is the kind of neutral point is seated. You'll spend a lot of your time here. You see an option for perhaps something like an ankle pick. You'll come forward, or some sort of opportunity to go shin on shin. Then, if they come forward a little more aggressively, I come to my sideways open guard. Rather than being super lame here and just, look like I'm reclining, this foot's up. Because if he goes for a knee cut, I've got the ability to turn and put the knee shield in. But if they're looking for a leg drag, I'm kind of self-framing a little bit, making it difficult for him to drag the leg away. And the hand's also ready to take grips. If, for example, he goes to grab the trousers or the shin. And then, if I need to bail, if I'm about to get past, I come onto my back. And then there's various things I can do. So if I need to worry about him getting past my guard, obviously hipping out, framing, inversions, turtling, and all the rest of it. So, just to talk about this in sequence, the forward motion part of this, if I'm looking at my partner's sort of stance, he's probably going low, he's looking for things. If I can look to attach to a leg, I'll do it. If he comes in with the hands and tries to start grabbing legs, I obviously want to break grips and always grip fight. I have covered this in previous videos, so I'm not going to spend too long on it. But if I can grip fight, start immediately engaging a guard, that's great. I have had a lot of success personally with, as he starts coming in, getting my shin on his shin. Again, I have covered this in previous videos. And basically pushing forward, being aggressive, come underneath, and all my attacks from there. But then, if I feel like I'm struggling a little bit, perhaps he's grip fighting, I'm fighting, I can come in here, because from here, apart from being able to keep him in this kind of zone in between either leg, so I can start tripping here. Little movements just to make him stumble. He grabs this, I've already got the hand here. I can kick. So you got your Dela X, for example, if you wish. All your various options are there. Or seated, wrestle up, so on and so forth. But if all else fails, and I'm definitely getting past, there are several things available. So because I've got this grip, I can punch out here and look to start turtling, or coming to my knees and running away and then turning to face him. Or, if I've totally fucked it, I can quarter invert. Now this has saved my hide on more occasions than I can readily count, because from here, the general rule of thumb is, if I'm flat, he's got me. If I can turn onto my side, despite his grips, I'm still in the game. If I can frame on an armpit or something of that sort, that's pretty good too. But remember, being turtled is not a death sentence, and there's loads of counters from here. I'm still in the fight. It's better than being pinned. And if you've been watching any ADCC matches from trials, you'll have seen that people are fighting like hell to not get flattened, because being flat equals death. So, just to give you an idea of how a typical sequence might go, my partner's kind of fighting a little bit. He's going to engage, maybe look to start grabbing and manipulating my neck, my shoulders, all the rest of it. Perhaps he's looking for a back step pass. I can fight a little bit here. And if I can lift a leg and not leave my arm in and get armbarred, that's a pretty good start. It might be the case that he manages to step the foot out. I come back to shin on shin. I might post here, grab here, and look to get a little shin on shin sweep. And then from here, if shin on shin works as an entry in single leg X, that's fine. Or I can go to shin on shin. And if I don't feel I'll get that, I turn, I face, and I sit up again, looking for a single leg sweep. If, however, I'm being put under a lot of pressure and I'm really struggling here, I'm constantly in the back foot, I'll go to this supine position. I can also start off in this position, but I personally prefer to come to here. Rather than being here and giving up certain tools or certain advantages, I prefer being here because I'm quicker to wrestle up. So it might be the case that I block here, and again, I'm on my various attacks and I'm able to chase. That's one of the key benefits for me of playing this sideways open guard while I'm posted on my elbow. Little notes about the post. You're not in your hand, you're in your elbow. Because here with this, you lose a little bit of mobility, and also if your shoulders are gammy like me, this will hurt. Here with this is a little bit easier. And as I say, I can grab the collar, but general rule of thumb when you're dealing with open guard passing, you kind of want to grab the things which are grabbing you. So he's got a grab of knee and trouser. I will look to get a hold here, butt this off, and then move here. This cross post is going to make it a little bit more difficult for him to turn in towards me. Or, for example, if I'm trying to get some sort of collar and sleeve going, maybe I've ripped this arm off here and he starts backpedaling, I'll come back here, maybe look to loop in, and then maybe come back to my back. Now, this is where there's another pretty good idea. A lot of times when you are seated, it's going to be quite difficult to get proper grips, or at least the grips you want on your partner. So, because we've now got this full spectrum of movement, where I can go seated, wrestle up, going forward, or if I have to fall back, or fall back supine, we now have potentially more options to get the grips we want. So, for example, if, for example, I'm playing seated guard here, I'm fighting with hillbilly, it might not always be possible for me to just simply scoot in and get the grips I want. I'm going to have to give him a little bit of space. It's a bit of a Trojan horse, if you will. You kind of, come in a little bit, invite them in a little bit before you then, well, not massacre them, because that's not what we're doing here. Essentially, I need hillbilly to engage. I can't really engage with this chaos here, because he can step, knee cut, slam his knee in my chest. He's got full range of movement here. He can move to either side. But once he starts committing to a particular side, now, at this point, instead of staying here, I can sit back with one of my options and engage. So this is a little less focused on the technique, but rather the tactics of it. So if I'm dealing with an open guard passer, and he's really not giving me anything, if I think, no, every time I'm going for my guard from here, from the seated position, he's knocking feet out the way, he's bypassing, he's not letting me get it, I'm going to have to let him in a little bit. I'm going to have to let him think he's got me before I then go, aha, and spring the trap. So from here, I'll look to engage. I'll probably have feet here a little bit. I'll make him think. And then we're right in. A really good example of this, Joseph Chen won ADCC trials in Europe a few weeks back. If you watch his matches, he's very good at seated guard start and then inviting people in. As they step in, they look for knee cuts, various forms of passes. He then goes to supine his back with the grips he wants. This is an example of what we're doing here. So, to put it all together, I'm starting seated. My personal preference is to get some form of attachment and a chance to wrestle up. If I can get an ankle pick and put him on his backside, mint. However, our opponent's probably going to be pretty smart, pretty savvy, so we can look to go to here, and if we can get some sort of open guard straight from the off, collar and sleeve, or variation thereof perhaps into your X guard single leg X, or modified X, that's great. But then we have to assume that they're pretty good, and they will not let that happen. So, he's either going to put pressure on me, and which is going to force me to the sort of sideways open guard, where I'm framing, my feet are kind of on either side of him. So instead of my legs being facing away from him, which would be death, I've got my feet in front, and he's kind of in this zone of death, and I can fight here, break grips, get my lasso if I want. All these various things I want to do are all available here. Or, if he's been really canny and he's kind of standing outside doing kind of fast and loose passing, I'm going to have to bait him and let him think he's got a chance to step in and commit to a pass. At that point, I'm here like this. I'm going to let him think he's got something. I've got a call grip, and then I engage. And now the real battle begins. And then, if all else fails, if you totally fuck it, if he's just absolutely bum rushing you, you can go to your back, run away. If he gets past the legs, one of the things I like to always try and tell or remind students of is to not be flat and to run away and come onto your side. I have done videos on Priit's hawking and running man positions and baby bridge as well, which are super useful for not getting immediately flattened out. General rule of thumb, you always want to make sure you're getting your legs back in front of him. If he passes to, say, knee and belly, I'm not staying flat, I'm moving away, hipping out, getting feet back in front, and coming back in to start the cycle over again. And it's just that constant moving back and forth through all these options and through this full range of positions and possible attacks. So, this will probably take a bit of time to develop. Please look at the other videos referenced. All your open guard stuff, seated guard is there. Sideways open guard isn't too difficult to grasp a hold of. You're basically just posting your elbow and you're keeping someone in the zone here, pushing, hooking with your feet to disrupt their base. And this hand here, self-framing, ready to grab whatever's trying to grab you. And then as I say, you can always just run away, because running away is sometimes not a bad idea. Go train.